Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I'm here to celebrate all that is average. Today, we're talking about the Telos DST 2026. A very fun, versatile, all-mountain ride that has good pop, a fast base, competent grip, not the best float in powder compared to some all-mountain boards, but still decent enough. And it's got D3O this year in the construction, so it makes it a more damp, chatter-free, but still lively, poppy, energetic, fun ride that I think a lot of people can really enjoy. I didn't put a ton of time on this because I know this shape and this camber profile pretty well. I just wanted to see how the D3O rode. But I rode it with Union Force and Nitro Team TLS bindings and got it on some varied groomers. And as most of you know, this is an honest, objective review with zero brand oversight from Telos. And we can do that thanks to sponsors like Blower Board Shop, who've been selling to snowboarders longer than most resorts, have been allowing snowboarders on the mountain. They've got a big online presence now. So if you want to support objective content, buy through our links to Blower Board Shop. We'd greatly appreciate it. Now, when it comes to sizing, this 157 felt pretty good for my specs. This would be the size I'd want to own. My size 9s are a little small for this, but it worked. And it was great for my weight. Now, when it comes to shape, this is tapered and directional, but there's a very mild 5mm taper. It feels much more centered than it looks, especially on snow. There's a 20mm setback on side cut. They don't disclose the reference stance here, so I'm just going to choose the reference like I always do. I just go one in and I measure from this center one here. So from that, if you want to talk about setback on board versus side cut, it's 1.5 inches back from center of board at a 21.5 inch stance width, which is great for me. And then if you want to set it all the way back, you can get 2.5 inches back from center of board at a 22.5 inch stance width, which is a little wide. And that's pretty good for an all-mountain board, not very good for a freeride board. And when you're talking camber profile, there is a lot of camber going on here that cambers up, then flattens out in the middle, but it's also got some early rise, a very mellow transition before the nose and tail, but not a lot. And the way this comes down here, it's a mellow enough transition that I think a committed intermediate could handle this, but it's really going to shine for advanced to expert riders, and it's never going to get boring across the board. It tracks really well. It one-foots incredibly well. It's not terrible to skid a turn, and it's a very fun, mostly camber ride that I think a lot of people will appreciate. And when it comes to edge hold, there is a nice little disruption going on through the side cut, and I found that it gripped pretty well in firm snow. It's not a full-on ice specialist, but it's very competent and comfortable when you're in hard snow. Let's talk DST 57 Flex. It's got a medium-ish, bordering on medium stiff flex. The nose is pretty soft, especially up in this area, but as you get down to where the camber ends, it's a little stiffer, and you can see most of the give is up top. The tail's a little stiffer, especially in this region, but as you get to the part where it starts to rocker up, it's much softer. And then between the feet is the medium stiff part. This is medium soft in the tip and tail. And overall, there's a lot of energy here. But Telos has always made a damp board in uneven snow. That's a nice balance between being poppy and being chatter resistant. So it's good in hard, uneven snow, and it's very good in soft, uneven snow for this flex personality. This year they added D3O into the board's construction, and it's helped even more with chatter reduction than past models. This is a lot easier board to butter than you would think in the nose and tail, and it's just got easily accessible pop. This flex personality is really easy to access for an average rider like myself. This was much more doable riding switch than I thought it would be, It's the kind of board I could take into the pipe. It's the kind of board that will track well into a kicker, and I had a lot of fun playing around with side hits. You know, those ones that are sometimes a little complicated. You might have to take a hard right and then launch off of it. This just handled that very easy, and it's a lot of fun there. Now, when it comes to turn initiation, I thought this DST did a great job for my size 9 boots. It initiated a turn pretty quickly, and when you get this side cut committed, the spring out of the turn on the DST is just delightful. I really enjoyed the turning experience of this board. You can front foot, center weight, back foot weight your turns, and it just sprung out of a turn and helped you set up for your next turn very well. It's a pleasure to turn this. It's a 7.3 meter radius side cut. It's pretty deep and pretty turny, but it doesn't feel hooky for a 157. I could do some down the line carves as well as across the groomer to circle carves, but it's definitely on the turny side of balanced, but it has the dampness to point it, and I don't think a lot of people will be that disappointed if you want a straight line here and there, but mainly turn more than you do straight line. If you want to go fast, you can get the Lemurian Carbon. That's more directional, more bomber friendly than this. When it comes to base glide, Telos does their bases right, all black, a little name recognition on the top, but out of the way from most injuries that the base can get, so it's easy to repair. It's got great glide, it's upper tier for sure. And when it comes to powder float, I didn't get this DST in powder, but I got almost the same exact shape and camber profile and setback on board in powder before, and it floated well, but not great. You can't really think of this as a free ride board. You have to think of it more as an all mountain board, something that can do a little bit of everything, and it's not going to be a super deep floater. It shines a little more when the angle is a little steeper. Low angle powder at Mount Bachelor is very challenging for a board like this. So overall, I think this DST is a very good one board quiver. There are some all mountain boards that I've tested that float better, but this new D3O makes this board even more chatter resistant while still not affecting the pop, and I think it's a very special, energetic, lively, fun, versatile ride for those of you looking for a one board quiver, and it was a pleasure to be on it.